I could get uninterrupted time. And this is going to be called Closet Talks number 1. First, I want to say that I am not special in any means. There are thousands, possibly a million of people like me that have dreams, the dreams of being an artist and surviving and thriving and finding, after 20 or 30 years, in my case, at least 30 years of working and building an audience, that we dream of the day when we can just mainly do our art. So there's millions of people like me, and I'm nobody special, and I'm not saying I deserve that. I'm just here to express, that I have some feelings and I have some frustrations about that, and that's all. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to do. But maybe there's some of you out there that want to help and feel connected to my art and feel connected to what I do. And in the old system, if there were enough folks that cared about a particular artist, they became patrons, and that artist, whether it be Beethoven or Tchaikovsky or Mozart, that artist was able to focus and continue making art for the world, and maybe they had more stability in their life. So I'm reflecting on what that's like in the year 2020 and what I've experienced over 30 years and how things have really moved quickly and transitioned. And I want to share a story and some thoughts and some feelings and frustrations. And again, let me repeat, if some of you want to help me and want to be connected to what I do, again, I'm not here to complain. I'm not wanting to sound like I'm whining, but if any of you want to step forward, patreon.com/Will Taylor. And if you want to check out things that I do in the community to give back, so you have a feeling that when you support me, that it reverberates out beyond me. You can check out Strings Attached Cares, the work I've done for the community through that organization, nonprofit. You can donate to Strings Attached Cares. You can look at Strings in the Woods. You can look at stringsattached.org. Those are 3 places you can check out what I do. So it's not just, if you decide to be a patron for my work, again, it reverberates out in many different ways. It's not just staying here at my house and helping pay my bills and allowing me to eat food. But anyway, I was thinking today that in the old way of being a musician, how you obtain fans and how you were able to support yourself is, let me back up a second here. So I was thinking about a friend of mine who is about my age. We're middle age. We're starting at our middle age. And she's a brilliant songwriter, unbelievable, has so much to give to the world with her songwriting, and she has a really passionate fan base, as a matter of fact. But the new world is so much about, the new world of staying current as a musician is so much about knowing things that have nothing to do with music, technology, internet, running a phone like I am right now, that in a way she has been left behind, and I've been trying to help her. Oh, am I going to get interrupted here? I've been reaching out to help her, and there is so much resistance into the way of being connected as a musician in 2020 that it just seems so difficult for her and so not intuitive. So I thought, well, what was the way that my friend Libby, what was it like for her when she started out? Well, she just played a bunch of gigs. She played it all over the place. She just played her music all over the place. And the thing that was great about that is the process that made you gain fans so that you could make a living also was related to that process made you a better musician. You were playing your music before people. You were trying out your songs. Well, what does that look like today? Well, what are the cafes and bars and venues where a musician can continue interacting with their audience and creating that community? Well, it looks like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. And less Facebook these days, more TikTok. And if you look at the young musicians, they're very savvy. They're on TikTok. They're making 4 or 5 music videos a day. There are people on there that don't have any music available on Spotify that have 2 million fans. Folks, this is where it's at. But the disconnect for me is that I don't see if it will work for people that look like me, that look like in their middle age. And I am trying to see if that will work. But those are the places where it's filled in what the coffee house used to be, what the house concert used to be, since we can't gather in groups. TikTok is the place. I can put up a 60-second video. But unfortunately, what's missing is that in-the-room interaction, that craft of being able to interact with your audience. So in a way, my heart is sad that there's so much music that is, and so many musicians that are going to get lost in this upgrade to the future, that don't have time. And there are so many listeners that aren't willing to go through the technological hoops and hurdles to receive that music. So it's frustrating to me. But with me, what I'm thinking is, and what's really frustrating is that the amount of hours I have to spend doing non-musical things is overwhelming. The amount of shiny objects, the amount of shiny things that I have to do to build the fan base, to keep the fan base active, the disconnect, because I know that a lot of people just don't want to be contacted. So the overwhelm is there with my fans. Even though I've been building a fan base for 30 years, I still don't have a sense, like a daily sense of how in touch I am with them, what do they want? There isn't a sense that in 30 years of building that I've landed anywhere of consistency where I can relax and just create music. I have to have this unbelievable sense of faith that they're out there and that I'm not bothering them by constantly coming to them and asking them. So what I want to share with you is the things that are working for me. And if you want to join patreon.com/Will Taylor and be a patron of what I do and let it reverberate out to so many other things, Strings in the Woods, where I take people on hikes in nature and we talk about nature and we do acoustic music, stringsattachedcares.org. When we get done with the pandemic, we'll be doing that. If you want to be involved, I'm inviting you to. So what I'm realizing is what are the things that still exist where I can practice my art and I'm not taken away from the art. In other words, where I'm playing my violin, I'm writing music. Well, the things that are left are TikTok, Instagram, Facebook Live videos, Strings in the Woods. Those things will further develop my skills as a musician, 30 years into this, keep the fans, keep the people that want to be patrons to me interacting with me. So but it's very difficult because you get distracted and there are so many things that you are told that you must do to keep this fan base going. And it takes you away from the actual creation of the music, So that's frustrating for me, and that's sad because I'm spending so much time. But I understand. I want to say this with a caveat. I want to say this with a side note that it's my decision to do this. I could just give up music. I'm not whining here. Everybody's having a hard time. I'm just expressing my emotions here and feelings so that if there's so many of you that are on my mailing list, there's so many of you out there, I've said this year after year, that want to support what I do, then you can reach forward and you can let me know. If it doesn't work out, if I'm not able to keep doing music and have enough people to support me on a monthly basis, there are options. I'm not going to die. There's things I can do that have nothing to do with music. I could teach music. I teach violin. I could become a landscaper. There's other options but when I look at the thousands that are on my email list that watch on Facebook, and I think if a number of them came forward and said, yes, I'd love to support you, Will, for $1 a month. I'd love to support you for $5 a month. That I feel like checking that option off first before I go to the option of, being a landscaper, or something that's not musical and just not creating music that I can put out there for your folks once a week. So, I am checking off that last option and expressing that I think it is possible. So, yes, I'm frustrated by the amount of time it takes to write emails, to do things that have nothing to do with connecting with people, being on a computer, being disconnected. And that seems to be the new way of the music world. But if I step back and ask myself, well, what can I do? Well, I can play TikToks. So that's me playing my instrument. I can play live music. I can play live videos on Facebook for those that want to tune in. and that's going to further my skill. So if I can stay focused with that, okay, that's great. Awesome. And in all those videos and all those interactions that are virtual, I ask people to come on board as patrons, $1 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month. And maybe there'll be enough people that care about my world. And then I can continue doing that. And it's no big deal if it doesn't work out. I'm just here to talk about it in the closet. And I'm losing my train of thought. But I did have the thought today that there are many musicians who aren't doing what I do, and they don't have the patience to do what I'm doing, which is to sort of roll with the changes. And they don't have the patience to learn all of the new things. Like my friend Libby, they just want to write the music. I mean, the way it was when I started out, it was just enough to be able to learn how to write music and play music. That was enough to fill a lifetime. That was enough of a difficult path. Just to do one thing was enough of a challenge. Now, if I want to make a living at that one thing, I have to be good at least 2 things, if not 10, 15, 20 things. What are those 10 or 15, 20 things that I have to be really good at? Let's just put them all in marketing. So let's say I've got to be good at my instrument. I've got to be good at performing. That's a separate thing. I've got to be good at marketing. And marketing is so many things that have nothing to do with music. And so many people have incredible resistance to doing marketing. My friend Libby. And they just don't want to do it. And so many of my friends are going to, it's no big tragedy or anything. Like, they could still play their music for their family and their friends and who's around them. But yeah, that's what the situation is today. And I've got to be good at writing an email. I've got to be good at how to run video, how to do photography, how to edit video, how to edit music, I have to know what a custom audience is on Facebook. These are all the things that I've got to know. I've got to know how to read analytics. I'm just running down the list of all the things that I do. I've got to know how to segment an audience. I've got to know how to use the correct words in my emails to inspire people. When I sit down to write an email, I have to be creative in writing an email that's inspiring, and it's not just like asking people to buy things. I have to know how to create value. I have to know these has nothing to do with creating beautiful music. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I have to know how to connect with an audience so that they see me as valuable. This is the way it is of the new artist in 2020. And I'm stepping up to do that. But at times, I'm exhausted, and I am sitting in front of the computer in a sort of brain haze, going, I don't know how to do this. Or no, I don't. I'm frustrated. Like, I don't know what to say. I just write music. I just want to go perform. I just want to be curious. I want to bring great art to people. Can I just do that? Anyway, that's a little bit of my frustration right now. How can I let that go? And how can I just accept that now I have to be great at 2 things, which is music and marketing? And that's the way it's been for the last 25 years, is that 20 years ago when I started Strings Attached, I thought, you know what? I'll be great at marketing, but someday I'm going to be able to pass that off to somebody. Someday the cumulative work, I'm going to work all hours of stay up all night to make music great, to do 2 things, marketing and music. And someday I'll be able to pass the marketing off to somebody else. Well, that day doesn't ever come. And many musicians have more passionate fan bases than I do, like Libby Kirkpatrick. Her fans are passionate, and they would love to see her music on a regular basis and see her. But she doesn't have the patience to do 2 things great, marketing and music. Marketing and music. That is what the music world is. It's marketing and music. So I get tired, and my brain doesn't know what to come up with when I'm sitting in front of an email. And my brain gets tired of constantly having to come up with and new little say under the photos that make people interested, that make people want to go eventually buy my music and come on a Strings in the Woods walk. But there's this feeling of all this cumulative work. It isn't really adding up to something that is permanent, sustainable. And that's what's frustrating and makes me want to give up at times. But you know what? What doesn't want to make me give up is that people step forward to become patrons. People step forward to give $1 a month, step forward to give $5 a month. Because if I were to have that patron income every month, when there are no gigs at all, that's the only income we have, is patron and residual income from digital music. That's it. That's all we have right now. If I had that, then I would believe that there was something cumulative that I've built over 30 years. And yes, I'm not the only one. There are thousands of people like me all over the world. But there are thousands that I've made a connection with and have built a relationship with out there that are fans, that maybe you're hearing this and maybe you want to give $1 a month. Maybe you want to give $5 a month. We're checking this off. We're seeing how many of you are willing to step forward. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. There's a little voice in my brain right now. There's one of you watching that's saying, after this video, nobody really cares and nobody's really going to sign up. And you know what? I'm actually okay with that, because there's other things that I can do eventually. If this isn't successful, if there aren't enough of you, I can do other things besides music. Yes, I'm not saying I'm going to quit, but maybe I'll downgrade it. But again, I'm reaching out. Maybe there's enough of you out there past 30 years, been building this, hoping for a sense of sustainability, hoping for a sense of all that building to have a return on investment. And for it not to benefit just people like Led Zeppelin, and for it not to benefit the big pop stars. I have a hope in my heart that there's enough of you, and the thousands that have come and heard me play and put on shows all over Austin, that there's enough of you that will come forward and say, Will, we want you to keep doing what you're doing. $5 a month, $10 a month, $50 a month. I'd love to be a patron. We want you to keep writing music. We want you to keep collaborating. We want you to keep doing videos every week. That's what I hope. But yes, I'm still frustrated to this day, and I still dream of a day, and I'm not the only one, but I'm putting it out there. Yes, I'm not special, but there's a day I dream of when I'm not having to spend an hour on Twitter, where I'm not having to spend an hour on Instagram, where I'm not having to spend 2 hours making TikToks, hoping that I'll make new fans that actually might buy my products, that might become patrons. There's an arrival day that I dream of, where I don't have to be doing this selling. There's a day of arrival I dream of when some fans write me and say, Will, I wish you didn't have to make these videos. I wish you didn't have to ask so much. I wish you didn't have to market so much. Yes, there's a day of arrival I wish for. Maybe it'll never come. And maybe this is the cost of creating new art for my fans right now, is that I have to do these asks, that I have to come and I have to put my, some people would say pride. I don't necessarily like that word, but this is the way it is in 2020, with the fact that everything is saturated. You know, the link is patreon.com/Will Taylor. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. That's where you can sign up to be a patron. This is what we need. We need patrons. And there's many of you that can't give anything, and that's fine. Maybe you can share our music. Maybe you can talk about our music. Everybody has a place. Everybody is welcome, from just the people that want to watch for free on the sidelines to the very few of you who want to step forward and still have jobs and still have income coming in and want to pony up $5 or $10 a month, what you might spend on coffee at Starbucks. And I've been saying this message for almost 10 years. It's getting a little more comfortable for me to say, but there's still voices inside there that's like, you're begging. I have one of my closest musician partners is like, hates when I do this. Absolutely hates it. He says I'm begging. He stopped because he knows that I'm just going to do it anyway. And because, you know, a lot of people are like, just be positive. Be positive, Will. They don't want to hear your begging. They don't want to hear your asking. Well, I'm not begging. I'm just saying, if you want to support what I do in an era of no gigs, if you want to see more music come out, then do what they did Beethoven, Mozart. They had patrons. If you want to see me sell less, then sign up as a Patreon. If you want to, if you love what I do, then we need patrons. It's that simple. It's not begging. It's the same thing that PBS does. It's the same thing that NPR does. Do people complain about them begging? Yes, there always will be a few complainers, but those aren't the people, I guess, that are going to support me. So, hey, I had a thought, but I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh, yeah. So there is that little voice of shame in me that's still in me that's like, God, I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish, but the few of you that do sign up, some are signing up at $80 a month, some at $50 a month. Give me hope. Make me excited that there's people that believe that it can work this way. And if you go look at the Patreon site, the guy that created Patreon, Jack Conte, he believed and he created this, and now millions of dollars go to creators to do what they do and to do what they love. And he believes that we'll see a world where being a creator is an actual career that people actually believe, and that the old way is going to die off. Yes, I believe this. In my middle age, I believe it's possible. So there's from the closet. It's still difficult. It's still hard to get here and make these calls, but bitches and sell. But I'm going to do it from the closet, hiding from everybody in the house. So I want to bring one more thing. Again, the link is patreon.com/Will Taylor. If you can't donate, but maybe you know somebody who can, I don't know if we want to use the word donate. Let's say support. How about contribute? I have fans that they don't like the idea. They think this is charity, this is begging. But maybe if you could look at it like, I am paying for art to be created, to be put out into the world, and I want to be a part of that. You are paying it forward. You're saying you believe in me. You're saying you believe in the history I've already put down in the last 30 years. You've seen the art that I've put out. You've seen the connections that I've created in the community. So it's not charity. You're paying it forward. You're saying, I want to pay Will to create more connection and art. I want to pay him a salary. That's it. You want to pay me a salary to make more art and connection in the community based on the track record that Will has put out there. And instead of going to the movie theater, which you can't do with I don't do that. You are paying it forward right now. You're trusting me. You're putting your faith in me. And you're saying, I want to be a patron and I want to pay it forward. I want to pay Will now to go into the studio because I don't have a salary. Only way I have a salary is through you patrons. The only way I have a salary is if enough of you believe, just like politicians, they get paid by taxes. Well, I get paid by patrons. And that's my salary, and I work for you. I go in to create community and connection. And if you're new and you're asking, what have you done, Will? Just scroll through my Facebook page. Go to willhelps.com. Go to stringsattachedcares.org. See what I've done. If you're asking, like, is there a consistency in what I've done? You can find all that. You want me to tell you now? 2011, I did a big benefit concert for people affected by the fire in Bastrop. I've done multiple benefits for the community. I've done things for the elderly, for kids. I've created a concert series that thousands of people enjoyed. And the hard part of this is that I have to keep coming back, that I have to keep selling, that there's not a feeling of arriving where there's enough people that are willing to pay regularly that I can count on a regular salary. Well, one of the ways that we can fix that is through patrons. If you become a patron and you want to pay it forward, then we can fix that. Then I have a salary. Then I can just focus on creating the music. And the dream is that if I have enough of a salary, then I can pay somebody else to do the marketing. And that dream has not been realized. I still have to do the marketing. If there's enough of you that pay me enough, I can pay somebody else to do the marketing, and I can focus my efforts on the connection in the community. Thank you for watching. And I know that some of you out there, there's a little voice in my head that's like, oh my God, there's some people that are out there just hating this right now. They just think I'm just stooping to the lowest, that I'm begging, and I'm, you know what? But that's okay. I'm okay with having people think that of me. Because, you know why? Because there's some of you that have stepped forward to support what we do. And I'm saying me, I'm saying Karen and I and what we create. There's enough of you out there that have come forward. I know that Karen might be watching this and cringing too. And I know that there are band members that might be cringing. But you know what? There's enough of you that are coming forward right now and saying, I want to be a supporter. That helps me relax, helps me know that there'll be income, helps me know that I can still work 12 to 16 hours a day creating beautiful music and art that will be around after I'm gone for people to enjoy. And you get to decide whether I'm important enough to support. You get to decide that. And so even though I have this feeling of being, I'm begging and all this, there's still some of you that don't believe that. And that's what keeps me going. So thank you. Thank you to the patrons and the supporters for watching this from the closet. And I'm not going to worry about that little voice in my head about those few people that are the haters. I'm not going to worry about those few people because there's more of you. There's more lovers out there. And that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on the supporters, the lovers, the listeners. And we're going to go forward for the rest of the years I have on this earth and keep creating connection, community, love through art. The art is just the thing that we share. The thing that really matters is that connection, right? The art is the centerpiece. But really, what really matters is that connection between each other. And the world is changing. We can't just expect to have a job. But maybe some of us can, and that's great. For those of you that have jobs and have that consistency, awesome. For those of us that don't have those jobs, we're going to try this way out. And Roger, thanks for joining us. Roger, hope you enjoy the music that I have to create, and I hope you'll consider being a patron. For those of you that still have income, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $50 a month, this is how we're creating our salary. We're asking our fans, we're asking our followers, if they can, pony up, become a supporter of the work that I do. And if you need a reminder, you can go to willhelps.com to see the work I've done over the years. You can go to stringsinthewoods.com, and you can see all the things that I've done. You can see the track record, and you can ask yourself, does Will and his company deserve my sustaining support? This is just like KUT going on and asking for sustaining support. It's this exact same thing. If you want to give a tax-deductible contribution, you can go to stringsattachedcares.org. If you want to help out in some way and you don't have any money, you want to help out by giving your time, you can make a comment below. I could just stay on here and this could be a telethon. So that's what we're doing. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. We're asking for you to come forward, that if you value the work that I do right now without any gigs, we're asking for you to help pay me to do more work, to do more art, to spend less time on the computer, to spend less time on marketing. We're not there yet. But if I have enough patrons, if I have enough patrons, I can pay somebody else to do this, somebody else to do the marketing. But for 30 years, I've had to do it mainly on my own. I've had a few times. One time we did a Kickstarter project, and I was able to use the money from that to hire a publicist. And it was amazing. It was great. It really helped. The thing about Kickstarter is that once it's done, then you have to do them again and again and again and again. So the great thing about Patreon and having patrons is they come on and you have that regular support so that you can focus on creating the art and practicing and connecting. It was a dream. When I was studying viola with Donald Wright at UT, it was under the old system, which is you would find a job. I played in the Austin Lyric Opera for 30 years. And you could just do one thing. Well, if you're going to be an entrepreneur musician, you don't get to just focus on one thing. Unless you have a level of success where you have enough extra income where you can pay somebody else to be your manager. You can pay somebody else to do that. And that yet has happened for me. So if you're out there watching and you believe in me and you believe in the track record that I've put down and you want to support what I do and you want to see me do more of it, patreon.com/Will Taylor. People keep coming on, so I just keep talking because I keep hoping. I keep talking, I keep hoping, and if new people come on, they haven't heard the patreon.com/Will Taylor. And what I'm talking about is that now, if you are a musician that doesn't have a symphony job or doesn't work at a university, you have to be good at several things. It's not enough to be great at one thing. It's not enough to be great at your art. It's not enough to be great at playing your instrument. You have to be great at marketing. You have to be great at saying, groveling. Some people would say you have to be great at begging. You know, I hope I'm not looking at this as begging, but there are those that would say that. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. I'm asking for those of you that are tuning in to consider supporting on a sustaining basis what I do at $1, $5, $10, $30, $50. People have come on board and are saying, I want to support what you do. And you can see that we've been doing a weekly video, high quality, brand new music out to the world. Every single week we've been doing that for the last 7 weeks. Tomorrow we release a new song Karen wrote about 2020. It's beautiful. It brings to bear everything that people have been experiencing this year into a work of art. Well, when we go create that music, we have no guarantee of income. We just create it with the faith that there are going to be enough of you, not just to listen, but to come to Strings in the Woods and pay $30 to come to Strings in the Woods during a pandemic. There's going to be enough of you that are going to sign up $5, $10, $15 a month and say, yes, I want Will to write more music. Yes, I want Karen to write more songs that will be around after Karen is gone. I have faith in Will and Karen. I have faith in Strings Attached that I'm willing to put $5, $10, $15 a month. I have looked at their track record. I have looked at the beautiful art that they have created with such care that I believe they deserve $5, $10, $15 a month. And I'm going to ask friends of mine to pony up and come forward and give as well $5, $10, $15 a month. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. And even though my mind knows that there's still a few people out there that doubt me, there's few people out there that say you shouldn't do that, Will, that you should just be positive all the time. I know that this message is going to reach a few people who hadn't thought about it, who have jobs still, who have income coming in, and are going to say, yeah, I can pony up $5 or $10 a month to help Will and Karen keep doing what they're doing and what they've been doing for the last 6 months with no gigs at all. And I want to show them, yeah, I didn't think about that in all this hustle and bustle. I've got $5 or $10 a month that I could pony up. Patreon.com/Will Taylor. Sorry, the link's not down there. So even though there are people out there that cringe that I'm doing this, even though there are people out there that think this is not the way you should do this, because they're back in the old system, which was find a job and then do your art, or get a record deal and do your art, or get a touring gig and be with a great touring act, and all you have to do is focus on your art. Well, guess what? That's not available to us right now. What is available is we have great equipment, we have great microphones. I have a beautiful, curious mind that wants to collaborate with people like Betty Sue and artists all over the world. We're collaborating with artists all over the world. If you sign up as a patron, wouldn't you be curious to see what we would come up with? Having the support where I don't have to worry about getting on email and getting on doing this every day. What if I could be freed up and work 12 hours a day just on collaborating? What kind of music would I come up with? What kind of music could I come up with? What connections that I have? Connections with people like the Turtle Island String Quartet. Connections with people like Grammy winners like Sean Colvin. If I call up Sean Colvin, if I didn't have to do email, and you could be a patron, patreon.com/Will Taylor. If I didn't have to worry about non-musical things all day long, and I could just be free, and somebody else was taking care of that and being paid to take care of all the business and the admin, like a lot of the artists, like Sean Colvin has that because she's at that level of success. If you made me be as successful as Sean Colvin, I could call up Sean Colvin. I could call up any number of amazing artists and have beautiful collaborations and create new works that didn't exist, that are just like sitting around floating in the air right now. And I could just grab them and I could go into the studio and I could make amazing collaborations. Who do you want to see me collaborate with? You know, I have that ability. I have built up a career in Austin. People know me. You want me to call up Van Wilkes? Do you want me to call up David Grissom? Do you want me to call up Slade Cleaves, Eliza Gilkison? You know, what's the barrier between me and creating with them? Well, it is funds. If I call up Eliza Gilkison and say, I want you to be on a song, she's going to ask, well, how much does it pay? Because she's at a level where she just doesn't give her time. If I call up Sean Colvin, same thing. Most likely, they're going to want to know what's in it for me. Okay? So, but you can make that happen. You could send me as a patron your ideas of a dream artist that you want me to work with, that you want me to write a beautiful string arrangement for. Let's think about this. I've already done things with Guy Forsyth, Shelley King, Carolyn Wonderland. Carolyn Wonderland lives down the street from me. What would it take to get Carolyn Wonderland with a beautiful string arrangement? Well, it would take me calling up and saying, hey, Carolyn, I got $1,000 to offer you for a song. Would you do it? I need 2 hours of your time. This is what it takes, man. Money talks. If you want to be a patron, patreon.com/Will Taylor. Share the video. Give me your ideas below. There's still one person watching and people keep tuning in. So I'm continuing the telethon. And Nora, thank you so much if you're still watching. Let me know. Who is still watching and where are you watching this from? I'm going to end now. How long has it been? Like 30 minutes? I'm going to show you a thing here I do with breathing. All right. So I've got this pulse oximeter. And it's going to show me my oxygen level. 97%. You see that? Now, if I want to raise it to 99%, all I have to do is just breathe deeper. Watch this. I'm going to count 4 on the in-breath and 8 on the out-breath. So it's not giving me a good... Here we go. It's not reading out my oxygen level, though. So if you want to increase your oxygen levels... All right, we won't do... Oh, 98. I already went up to 98. 99. Just by breathing in a couple times slowly through the nose. Did you know you get 20% more oxygen by breathing through your nose than through your mouth? Watch. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Deeply in through the nose. 1, 7, 8. 99. We already went up again. Now it's staying at 99. So a little tip there. Want to increase oxygen flow? Do breathe in deeply, count, and then double that amount on your out breath. Calms the vagal nervous system. Actually calms the nervous system, takes you more into parasympathetic mode. All you have to do is simply be aware of your breathing, slow it down. You're going to oxygenate yourself more. You're going to calm yourself. You're going to be more focused. A little tip. And for those of you that don't know, I have a morning meditation group that's open to anybody that's interested on Zoom every day in the morning. It's a practice group. And if you want to come along just for a matter of accountability, sometimes it helps when you know that you're joining a group and that you're doing this with people to stay more on track. If that's something you want to do with me every morning,